All right. There we go. Roll off that music. Thank you to our musical director, Mr. Mike Harmon, for contributing our music. I got some other stuff in the works. I got some other Free Jays working on some stuff for us. You know, if you happen to catch an earlier episode, we had a issue with copyrighted material, and I am extremely worried about jeopardizing the little thing we got going here. It just creates a ton of stress. What had happened before was my son was in the room during pre, and we weren't even rolling. Look at me sounding like a line pre. Before we went on the air, when YouTube's listening into what you're doing and monitoring, and they heard the music that he was playing on his phone and ended the broadcast. Not just paused it, they just said, it's over. I had to go back in, create a whole new event, and start all over. But luckily, we've got some music from our new musical director, current musical director, acting musical director? How about that? Acting musical director Mike Harmon, who put that together for us. Welcome, everybody. Today is, I do always have to look at the screen, Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. Welcome to the pandemic. This is Co-Video Live TV. I was remiss in waiting. I might have exposed somebody last episode, so we're going to do it right now. Quick temporal scan. For the safety of my guests, 99.6. That's about in line with the temperatures that we're seeing over here in Northwest Indiana. I haven't had warm temperatures like this since October. I don't know. I heard 6 months that we hadn't had them. So, which can only mean one thing around here in the spring, that severe thunderstorms may be in the forecast. So, if our power shuts off, as it did last week, we'll be back as quick as we can. YouTube does maintain the signal, the stream, and all we need to do is reboot in the studio and catch back up. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And if it does, hang in there. We'll try to be right back and just have some laughs with the frozen face that we may have going, like something like that. All right, without any further ado, let's go to our first guest for the evening. He's a member of the Unhappy Hour. He's in a band with me. He needs no introduction, so I'll just stop right now. Let's give a nice Co-Video Live TV welcome to Mr. Mark Sharp. Hello, Mark.
Hello, Ron. How are you?
I am doing well. Make sure we got your audio dialed in. How are things up there? Sorry, go ahead.
Good. Hey, happy Super Moon Tuesday to you.
Is it the pink supermoon?
It is. I was out on the back porch trying to get a good view, but it got a little dark and the thunderstorm started to roll in, so I had to seek shelter.
Raining up there to the north of me?
Not yet, I don't believe.
Yeah, we ate out on the deck. There's only a few months during the year, April and September, basically, that you can eat outside around here in Northwest Indiana. It's either blazing hot still at dinner time when I don't have an awning over the deck, or mosquitoes are killing you. I got bit by something while I was enjoying my carry-out pizza today on the porch. What'd you have for dinner tonight?
Tonight we had a little mac and cheese with some broccoli.
Right.
And barbecue chicken strips.
No scarcity of any of those. Were any of those homemade from scratch?
No. I mean, they're packaged goods that either frozen or needed mixing.
Speaking of packaged goods, first thing that comes to mind, booze. Are you hanging in there? Are you drinking a lot?
Doing good.
You're
doing good. Yep, staying hydrated.
Because we noticed that the liquor stores in Indiana, I understood, were going to a no one in the store kind of thing, curbside arrangements only, right?
So I've heard, yeah. And actually, that's probably a welcome thing. The last trip I made to the liquor store, I got a little too close for comfort with a couple of folks and thought booze must be too important to me to risk my life doing this, but well-stocked and ready to weather the storm.
Yeah, take a step back. Let me just say hello to some of the people that are commenting. Amy Hill says, "Hi, Ron, I got everyone to watch tonight." Oh my gosh, that would be what, 8 billion people in the world? Because we are available on the World Wide Web, except places whose governments prohibit this kind of content. Maybe my short sleeves might offend some. I don't know. Jessica Roberts is there again. Suzanne Smolin as well. JW, what up? Not sure. What up? I'm not sure who that is. I can guess. And hello, Heidi. Hey, Heidi, you got to send me pronunciation of your name in there. Maybe a phonetic pronunciation for me. I understand you knew Mike Zankowski, my guest from last night. All right, so welcome to the show, everybody. This is indeed episode 21. I did hear some thunder rumbling out there, so fingers crossed that this doesn't go south. What were we talking about? Liquor stores.
Yeah, yeah, hydration.
Have you been honest appraisal? Your alcohol can there you go. Oh, your alcohol consumption normal, above average? Give me your self appraisal.
That's a great question. I would say it's probably a little bit lower than normal.
Right, me too. I think I've had
Yeah,
one beer. It was one of those goes to 11. And I bought for rehearsal.
yeah,
Yeah,
those are good.
yeah,
Those are good.
11% alcohol, one beer. I've had one beer.
That's all you need, really.
Yeah, one of those. But over the whole 3 weeks that we've been locked down, that's about it. That's the extent of it. So
Wow.
I
I've
haven't.
had a bit more than that, but
Yeah, right. Not to put you on the
but less
spot.
than
I'm not
normal.
judging. I'm not judging.
Yeah.
Right. You got good
Yeah.
audio there. You're looking good. You get outside today and do some bike riding or something, or where were
I
you?
did nothing of the sort. I worked most of the day today, and was hoping to get a run in, but had dinner, had to go down to mom's house to pick up some chicken noodle soup that she made for us. Shout out to Ma Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And got back for dinner, was sitting in your green room for a while, just enjoying the music
Mm-hmm.
and the food that you had laid out.
The ladyfinger
And
sandwiches.
yeah, they were great. They were
Mm-hmm.
great.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So you have been working from home though. You're finding some time to get some work done. You're one of the lucky people
Yep.
whose job can be done from home.
Yes, yes, yeah, and actually, while business is a little slow at this time, while folks are kind of reeling from what's going on, we've had plenty of projects to keep me busy. So I've been doing a lot of work.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. You mentioned that
yeah,
in our pre-talk there. I don't know how heavy you want to get into it here, but some of the work you do with the company you work for involves coaching people in
yeah,
negotiations, something that,
yeah.
for better or for worse, always needs to be done and may need to be in these special circumstances that you mentioned, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So there's a lot of businesses that are probably going to start the recovery, as things start to be getting back to normal, and they're either going to be selling to folks who are a little bit tight on cash, or trying to buy from folks who might be a little bit shy of supply. So there's a lot of different supply and demand issues, and how that affects negotiated contracts. Force majeure, obviously is going to come into play there. So our company focuses on trying to get people to negotiate more effective agreements
Mm-hmm.
by kind of dealing with the tension of the interaction, and learning how to find creative solutions out of that.
No, you were flexing some of the negotiating skills that you had acquired since you started working there to get the first opening guest slot. That
Yeah,
was impressive.
yeah,
I felt it. I
yeah.
felt drained. I felt it
Yeah,
felt like I
Red
went
Bear
10 rounds.
Negotiation Company has they've trained me well.
Right. All right. Is everybody hearing that creaky chair of mine? I got to switch to chair number
Yeah,
2 during the break. I'll try not to move at
yeah,
all. Hey, I wanted to bring you on for a multitude of reasons. I bring friends
yep,
on that are entertaining. You meet both. We are in a band together. We intended to be playing
we
in a
are
gig coming up, the
very
second
soon.
annual Music for the Heart. I mentioned it on previous shows, and that has been postponed for the time being with the date to be determined. I referred to it a couple times. Can you give a quick backstory on that? I know you're tired of telling the
Yeah,
story, but it's an awesome story. Give me the
it
reduced
is. It's a
one.
great story. So about 2 years ago, I was working out at Lincoln Center, and had what the folks in the know call a cardiac event, and basically died for a bit. Was brought back by some folks who were in place and knew CPR, and were calm of mind enough to apply those lessons. And I got an AED, got my heart jump started again, got me going, and started the road to recovery after that. So it's been about 2 years almost.
Yeah.
And so we were going to be hosting the second annual Music for the Heart. It's a fundraiser. What we do is we try to raise funds. Last year we raised about well over $8,000 to contribute to the police department, the fire department, the school town of Highland, as well as the park department, to help them fund some of their AED supplies and training.
Hmm.
And then we also were able to dedicate a large portion of that money to free CPR certification courses that we offer through our friend Chris Fabris, who's a paramedic and a member of the volunteer fire department
Hmm.
in Highland. Hope he's doing well.
Right.
And he puts on classes for us, and we were able to, before the shutdown of things, we were able to train over 50 folks in the
Hmm.
community.
Hmm.
And our goal for this coming year was going to be, to get over 100. And so the fundraising that was going to go into Music for the Heart this year was to to raise enough money to get 100 people certified in CPR in the community.
Oh, it was a great event. Last year we pulled it off. We were known as the Dullies.
Yeah, yeah,
Should I explain it all? Mark and Matt Sharp. We were calling
yeah.
the Sharpies. Both became uncomfortable with their name being in the name, so we came up with the Dullies. And then
Yeah.
we figured people might not come back if they heard we were playing this year, so we changed our name
Right,
to Unhappy
right.
Hour, right?
Yep, yeah. So we keep the names rotating just in case folks, don't have a great impression of us. So
Yeah, it's true. Hello
it works
to
out
a
well.
couple people checking in. Martha Chai, I got to say hello to my mother-in-law, Cookie's there, and my wife, Tammy, who, for those who are loading up the inbox here saying, where's your co-host, where's your co-host, we'll have her back. We'll have her back. We'll have her back. She will be back soon. We're going to probably do another episode with maybe some of the teacher friends. We may even expand this to a Zoom type deal and Zoom, maybe drop the M. It could be a Zoo and bring in multiple guests at the same time. Have you heard of Zoom crashers?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have firsthand
We've used
experience.
it.
My sister-in-law
Yeah.
had some nasty stuff going on at her work. What'd you find out?
So we were using them for a little while, and we heard of the security risk, and so we've been scrapping that and moving plans to other platforms. I don't want to name drop anybody here just to send a little insider trading going on, but
Right.
needless to say, there's a couple popular names in that field that we're looking at.
Yeah, and it's crazy that you wonder who might have been behind that if it was somebody
Yeah.
from the platform that we're using. I mean, they don't get any. I'm not getting compensated by Skype. It was just the easiest for me to use and get somebody
Yeah.
sustainable, decent audio, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe we'll go to Zoom and just see. Maybe what if we challenge people? Challenge somebody to hack the broadcast and see how bad it could get for some laughs. Maybe keep my finger on the drop button. So, anything of interest going on in Highland? Toilet paper shortages? What's up in the neighborhood?
I haven't been out to the stores since last Thursday, trying to take that stay at home pretty seriously. But we do live on Meadows Park is in our backyard, so we do get a pretty steady flow of folks walking around the park. Of course, the playgrounds are closed, but people make their way around the park. It's kind of nice to see people, so we don't feel so isolated. So that's always nice.
All right. Anybody walking around in costumes or anything strange like that, or throwing candy or something?
I've heard of some folks doing that, but I've not myself seen anybody.
All right. Anybody you wanted to say hello with as we wrap up your part of the show here?
No, just hope everybody's staying safe and healthy and obeying the restrictions and taking good care of themselves. And special shout out to all of our first responders and folks in the hospitals. Bandmate Ted on the front lines, and my brother still working during this time. So for all those folks who are still working, thank you. You're in our thoughts, and really appreciate everything that you're doing for us who are staying at home.
And speaking of home, I will do you a little favor here. It could be a rocky few days or weeks until your next appearance on the show. But if you don't say hello to the people that you're presently living with, it may be uncomfortable for you.
True. Yeah. So there's the dogs, Penny and Olive.
Okay.
I want to send
you
a special hello to them. And of course, Ron, silly me, my wife, Brenda, and my sons, Andrew and Ryan. I think they're here in the house still.
All right. So thank them for being quiet. Thank them for staying off of the FaceTime or whatever and reserving that upload bandwidth for you and me and our show here. All right, Mark.
Hey, it was an honor to be on the show, Ron. Thanks so much for thinking of me.
Just like I told you to say, I owe you. 2-ply toilet paper for you in your inbox.
Yes.
All right.
One roll.
We'll see you, Mark. Thanks.
All right, Ron. Take care.
Bye. All right. And with that, we roll him out. Let's keep things rolling. I'm going to put up the logo. Again, we're going to get some pre-recorded content in there before this is all over. But for now, enjoy the silence. No, that wasn't that hard, now was it? We're back. We got our guest in the virtual green room ready to come on board. There really isn't much to say about this guy. He's another friend of mine that I've known for a long, long time. He goes back to the OLG days. We keep coming back to Highland, Indiana. Without any further ado, let me just bring up the audio here and make sure you can all hear him and bring him into the show. Let's give a nice Co-Video Live TV welcome to Mr. Andy Esser. Andy, hello.
How you doing, Smo?
I am doing well. Calling in from the Indianapolis, Indiana area, just west of Indy, right?
Correct. Beautiful Avon, Indiana.
Right. All right, you got the good setup there. I had to congratulate Andy, one of my quickest guest setups with framing the picture and lighting. I thought he was sitting near a window. I was ready to warn him that it's going to look blue, or when the sun goes down, it's going to be trouble. He says, no, I brought a light in. You get 2 rolls of 2-ply toilet paper shipped down.
No backlighting, all in the front.
Yeah, no kidding. Are you doing a little bit of something on the side, recording video? Are you doing webcam stuff? You see
No, not yet. I mean, after I saw you doing this, I'm starting to think about getting a competing channel going, but I'll wait and see how things go with you.
Yeah, I would suggest strongly that you start place an order for some equipment now, because a lot of the at-home video streaming stuff is back ordered into May. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Blackmagic design stuff is getting snatched up. Little inside info there. And capture cards and stuff are disappearing. The stuff that the gamers use and something you'd need to use to run off of YouTube. But I'm here to help.
Then I'm going to pass. No competition coming.
All right. What's been going on down in the Avon, Indiana area? Any shortages, fights breaking out over scarcities or anything like that?
Nothing that I have witnessed. Watching several of your episodes, very similar down here. The initial run, grocery stores were pretty cleaned out. I've kind of settled into a Sunday Kroger run to get my food and supplies, and for the most part, they've been there. And I think I'm going to try and cut it back down to every other week from recommendations.
You did mention you did have the mask on, though, right?
This past Sunday, I did wear the mask. I actually, when I pulled in, I thought, do I need to wear this? And I said, why not? Just one more precaution. Might as well take it.
What'd you pull out? Like a dust mask from work, or a homemade
it wasn't
T-shirt?
An N95. It was just your typical industrial particulate mask.
I gotta watch some YouTube videos or something. I'm supposed to go shopping later today or tomorrow, possibly. I gotta put something together with some old rags.
You have nothing currently?
No, my wife offered me something. It smelled of chloroform. I was a little leery of putting that up to my face after the...
Yeah, I'd avoid that.
Yeah,
definitely.
As much time as I've been spending in the studio here, I'm expecting to get that rag in the middle of the night. I was joking with somebody, if this ever takes off and I make a lot of money, it's going to be half of it going to Tammy and the kids, because I'm going to get my dupa kicked out of here. All right, moving
Rightfully
along.
so.
Rightfully so. Have you been listening into our conversations? Hey, I saw earlier today, I don't know when it was released, besides the alcohol, the liquor stores we talked about earlier, that Indiana state parks were restricting their usage, that campgrounds were closed. I'm a mountain biker. I like to ride off-road, and that biking was restricted to paved areas only, and that bathroom facilities, I think, were going to be restricted or removed. You heard anything about that?
I have not heard that, but I would not doubt it. You said it possibly kicked in yesterday. I know I had a friend that was hounded me to get out. He was camping for 4 days and wanted me to go out fishing, and I took a pass. But he said the parks are open. They're encouraging people. He launched his boat, no problem. He had a campsite last weekend, so I'm not sure if that's been ratcheted down to nobody camping, and I think they're still open and encouraving, physical distancing as far as walking and biking and fishing. And
sounded like
else.
It was only on paved trails. You had to be on the roads or paved trails to be walking or biking, so that eliminated mountain biking. And that the campgrounds in general were closing down because it was forcing the employees, I guess, to interact with people more than they wanted. So I thought you'd be interested. You like to do a lot of hunting, fishing, and such, right?
Right. Yeah, without a doubt. I have a township park in my backyard, which is awesome, with my dog. I think almost daily we, without fail, after work, head out for a walk. I meet some friends that kind of do the same thing after work, and we obviously talk from a distance and take the dogs for a walk. I know the front gate at that park is closed, but plenty of people access it off the trails, and I don't think we're breaking any rules by being out there.
Are you? I know I've participated in your annual Esser Brothers Fort, the golfing trip at the fort. The fort is shut down as part of a state property. Read that today.
Yeah, actually, golfing has been one of my outlets during these crazy times, and I did hear Marion County closed all golf courses, along with Howard County in Indiana. But I live in Hendricks County. So far, so good.
Rock on Hendricks.
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
The last 2 Sundays I've made it out, and it's really impressive what they've done as far as physical distancing while you're golfing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the same household, you're allowed in the same cart.
Right.
If you're not in the same household, individual cart for everybody. No touching the flag.
There aren't. They just didn't even have them out, right? They didn't have pins out.
The course that I play, they are out, but there's a PVC blocker in the hole, so that you never really need to reach in to get your ball out.
Right. If you hit the outside of the pipe, the plastic, right?
Right.
It's in.
It's considered it's in.
So your putting game has improved dramatically, right?
They're usually dead center, back of the cup.
All right. Hey, you said knock on wood for luck. Was that a 3-wood or a driver that you knocked down there? So
3-wood. 3-wood was all I needed.
You mentioned earlier as well about some of the work that you do. You work in let's say the recycling, the trash business. I don't want to get too much into it. I always worry about guests getting themselves in trouble for being perceived as representing the company's statement or whatever. So I'll say no more. How's that been going?
It's been interesting. I think when Governor Holcomb put out the emergency order, it was a little scrambling, and actually they've kind of rolled out the states that I'm involved in, Michigan and Indiana. I think Michigan was even a little prior. But the big thing with me working in environmental compliance was to, well, it wasn't necessarily me, but we realized some of the things that the environmental regulations require is a lot of tracking of paperwork for some of the higher risk waste streams and other things. So there's a lot of hand-to-hand contact with paperwork as far as the generator has to sign off on a manifest, the transporter has to sign off on a manifest, and then ultimately the landfill has to sign off on that manifest. And I would have to say over the last 2 weeks, I've been on more conference calls than I've been on in a year's time.
Right.
And it was all asking the regulatory agencies for ways to make this work, to obviously follow the environmental regulations and the protections in place, but some of the things that aren't 100% necessary, like a wet signature, we have asked that we can do everything electronically. Mm-hmm. And finally, last week, we did get that approved and rolled it out across all of our facilities, and it's gone fairly flawless. A couple of hiccups on how we going to do this, how we going to get it back to the customer, but it's been nice. It was successful, and we've reduced tons of potential hand-to-hand contact and transmission, and it's gone very well. And my conference calls have slowed down considerably,
which is probably the best result of it. And the natural question from me is, do you think this is something that will stick? Because we talked about it on the show before, the way business is happening, the way business is getting done, the way interactions are occurring, relying less on human contact, in-person contact between people. You think it's something that will stick around?
I think portions of it will. I think it's bringing to light some of the unnecessary items that are required. The more important ones, tracking asbestos loads, tracking waste tires, I think will come back as soon as the emergency order expires. Mm-hmm. Some of the unnecessary ones in Indiana, they have a weird regulation where municipal solid waste, if it's put in a transfer trailer, it needs a manifest, which is the only state in the Midwest that I know of that requires that. Mm-hmm. So talking with IDEM, our state agency, they have acknowledged that they will visit that even after the emergency order and look at whether they're going to require it. So like you said, I mean, I think some things are surfacing that we might correct and save some efforts that aren't really necessary.
Right. I asked you earlier about something that you said you weren't typically involved in. A lot of the areas around here, I'm not sure. I need to ask the kids because Sunday was our garbage and recycling pickup around here. If the grabber can't come and grab it and throw it into the truck, then they're not getting out of the truck to pick things up. And you couldn't comment on that, but it was just something I noticed around here happening. I don't know if it's happening in your neighborhood.
I do not know. I did see them come down my street yesterday morning, and they used the grabber for everything. From what I've talked to some of the facilities that I work with, I have not heard that, but I find it a little hard to believe because I know there's plenty of waste trucks out there that aren't fully automated like that. So,
what's the strangest thing you've seen turn up at a landfill?
The strangest thing I've seen turn up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't claim that I've seen a body come in.
I didn't want to know about that. Apparently nothing. It's pretty calm in central Indiana. Then not a lot of crazy stuff getting discarded, huh?
No, just a lot of nasty stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
some odors that you just couldn't believe.
All right. Well,
I guess spoiled duck eggs. When I worked up in Logansport, they have a duck factory up there, and it could clean out a neighborhood.
oh, but
It
they're
was
bringing a truck full though. They're not bringing like two of them, right? Or a large
correct. They're
quantity.
bringing
Yeah. Ooh.
truckloads of spoiled duck eggs that
Oh
are.
man, I'm glad I had dinner already. All right, something more appetizing. What have you been eating around there? You defrosting frozen fish or wild game, or what have you been working on? Any recipes in this
No,
pandemic?
nothing crazy. I would say I probably eat way less processed foods since I have the time now.
Yeah.
A lot of salads, burgers on the grill, little steak here and there, some fish, less pizzas, less frozen pizzas.
No deer. I haven't seen any pictures on Facebook of deer
I'm
roast
not a
or
deer
anything.
hunter.
No fish.
No venison.
Marv was showing some fried fish up last week, I think. So I don't know where you got the crappie.
Yeah, crappie.
You don't
as
have
Marv would say.
you don't have a freezer full of frozen fish.
I do have some actually from last year's crappie trip that we took out to Sullivan.
Well, wrap them in dry ice and send them up to Marv. I don't see him in the comments yet. I'm not sure, Marv.
I usually bring them to the following year's trip and we fry them on that.
All right, well, hang on to them. If people's supplies haven't been eaten through during this whole food shortages or whatever, I don't mean to scare anyone. There are no food shortages, and you don't need to be storming Marv's fridge for his frozen crappie. Hey, any pastimes or something? You know, you've got a little more time on your hands. I'm sure you're working hard when you're working from home, but
I am working hard. I'm forcing myself to go through the routine and getting up, normal time, showering, getting dressed like I'm going to work, forcing myself to stay at it. I
Right.
fell into that a day or two of staying in the sweats, and it didn't work very well. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. A lot of dog walks, getting together with friends, distant, obviously. A little fishing, some golfing.
golfing, right? What'd you hit? How many rounds you got in?
Since we've been under this, just 2.
Right.
And
your
we did
score?
play out in Arizona. We wish you were there. Obviously, you've heard that a couple of times.
I know. The main reason I didn't go was the travel and entertainment budget was stretched, but I ended up not spending a dime on spring break because it was all flushed down the toilet. So
Yep.
we didn't go anywhere. I was supposed to be out in California. What were your scores?
Well, hopefully we make that an annual trip and you make it next year.
I would love to golf in Arizona with the proper sunscreen on. What were your scores, real quick? How much under par?
Actually, we only played a little bit, and we divvied up into 3-man scrambles.
Mhm.
Thankfully, we did. But myself and Chris Kuchka and his daughter Carly beat handily, I will say, Mike Sinkowski and Jeff Wolendowski and
Yep.
his daughter.
JW is here in the chat. I see him here. Don Chai is commenting. Most of our towns will not take it if it's not in the can. Today was garbage day in Highland. A lot of leftovers in the Parkway. I guess they're not getting the memo. So sounds like that's the thing. Hey, on to something a little more serious. I usually mention something in the outro or when I'm leaving the show just to say hello to a good friend of both of ours. This is public knowledge that our good friend Jim Phillips is in the hospital in intensive care suffering from effects of COVID-19. Andy and I just wanted to say hello to him. If there's some message or something maybe someone could prop a phone up in front of him or something. He could hear our voices, or maybe when he gets through all this, he can tune in and hear how many people are thinking of him.
Without a doubt. My thoughts, best wishes go out to Jim, and also Kate and their 4 kids, who are all obviously locked at home. I think, did you share with me or somebody else that Jim gave a thumbs up in reaction to something today?
It was on the Facebook. Kate shared a story that a nurse who neither Kate nor Jim know, Jim, while awake for a couple hours, if I get the story right, she told Jim that she knew of him because he's all over Facebook and he's Facebook famous. Apparently, he gave a thumbs up. I don't know, something like that.
Well,
what
that was awesome
like.
to hear. I have been getting updates from his wife through Jeff Setmeyer, and she said that his doctor told her for the first time that he is cautiously optimistic. So
great.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. And
okay,
Jim, if you do get a chance to watch this, we're rooting for you.
All right. We'll leave it at that. All right. On that uplifting note, Andy, thanks for joining us. I forgot to ask our prior guest if he'd be willing to join us again. No one said no yet. No?
I have not said no, but I'll think about it.
All right. Well, get back to me. You've been going to the Mark Sharp negotiating school. All right. With that, I'm going to roll out on your audio. Thanks for joining us tonight, Andy. We're a little over, but it was fun to spend some time with you. Haven't seen you in a while. You're looking good there. You got the...
You also. I appreciate you having me on, and it was good seeing you.
See you, Andy. Take care. Be safe. Out. Guest. Out. All right. There he goes. Thanks again for joining us, Andy. Say hello. Say goodbye. You're gone. All right. With that, we will end the show. This was Co-Video Live TV, episode 21. Co-Video Live TV, episode 21. Look forward to being back here tomorrow for Co-Video Live TV episode 22 right here on YouTube, 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. I'm going to take a risk here and announce this email that my son set up. Co-Video Live TV. Co-Video Live TV. No punctuation, no dash in there. Co-Video Live TV at gmail.com. It's an inbox that we're going to be monitoring, looking for people's contributions, interesting stories, hopefully some media, pictures, short videos. These are the kind of things that we may try and work into the program, maybe at the beginning, the end. Maybe that would be something we can do to cover up that quiet time where we're redialing somebody on Skype. But looking forward to having some good interaction with everybody. That's Co-Video Live TV at gmail.com. And unless I... put something in the comments to tell you otherwise, or you're sending them to the wrong place, I believe that's it. All right, until tomorrow, Co-Video Live TV episode 21 is a wrap. This is Tuesday. God, I got to keep reminding myself. Tuesday, April 7th. Look forward to seeing everybody back here tomorrow. Bye now.